Sawyer, thank you
Hello.
so much for being here. It's been some time that I wanted to get a content creator like of your caliber. So just before like we start the conversation, like can you just give us a brief intro about yourself, like how you got into content creation, or even how you got to League of Legends?
Let's see. How I got into League of Legends is
Yeah.
easy. When I was a kid, I got really into gaming with Call of Duty. So I had a my brother had a Wii. We hacked the Wii. Back in the day, it was called Homebrew, and that was super beast. And then we could get any game for free. So then I got Call of Duty, and then I fell in love with that because I was always looking for like a more competitive game. Before then, I probably played stuff like Guitar Hero and whatnot, and we get
Hmm.
ultra pissed whenever I'd lose like the songs on the harder difficulty and stuff. So we have the Wii, we have the hacked Call of Duty, and then I was playing off my neighbor's Wi-Fi. Very key thing. If I didn't have all three of those combined, I probably would have never got into gaming. And then that was my first intro to kind of competitive gaming, trying to get the max kill streak in Call of Duty. So then I keep doing that years and years from like middle school until like probably first year of high school. And then eventually we moved and I got a gaming PC. And then I searched most played PC game. And there was two games, Dota and League of Legends. And just from playing Call of Duty, Call of Duty has that good engine, the good movement. Everything feels fluid. You have the cool stuff like YY cancel, where you would reload, cancel the animation, and then you can kill the guy faster. Cool stuff like that League has with animation cancels and speeding everything up. So I was already accustomed to that. And then you play Dota and it feels like shit because you turn your character and then he has to turn all the way around for you to even auto attack. And it was like, I'm not doing that. So I download League and I'm playing it. I think it sucks. I think it's the worst game ever created. It feels like shit. I don't like moving the character with my mouse versus WASD. But I kept playing it because I'm like, I'm going to become the best at this game. And the rest is history, I suppose.
You're the first person that admits, okay, the cost efficient way of starting.
It was so nice back in the day, you know? There was nothing like that. It never will be. You'll never be able to just get all this stuff for free again.
And
Uh,
then, like, what do you like? What got you to like go like deep focus into League of Legends to like be,
oh, to go like
to achieve what you have achieved in League of Legends? Like, what what was that point of like, oh, like I can actually, like I'm good at this. I can monetize.
so
Let's go. So
yeah, as I'm doing that, I'm in like first or second year of high school, and then the years keep going along. And luckily, in my second and third, or my third and fourth year of high school, I had my classes split between two. I would do high school classes, and then I would do college classes. And what was very nice is that there was a lunch period in between, and I could choose to skip either one of them, and without being caught. And my house was close enough to school to where I could walk home and play League. So I could either come in late or skip afterwards, and that's what I did because I that's all I cared about was gaming. For it was definitely what I was gonna do. So I would skip, and then I was going home playing League. I was ranking up, hit Diamond, and then once I hit Challenger, I wasn't aiming at Challenger. I was just playing, and then I hit Challenger. And I was like, huh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Even back in the day, Diamond One before there was a Master tier and a Grandmaster, that was pretty good. You had to promote from Diamond 1 to Challenger. Challenger was top 200 at that point. And honestly, it was harder than, in a sense, it was harder than the climbs now because now you climb from a Master tier all the way to Challenger. 0 LP to 1,000 ish. And it's just a matter of games, kind of. Versus back in the
mhm.
day, you had to qualify in. So I'm playing. I hit the big tiers. And then after I hit a big tier, then I had this opportunity where this team back in the day, there was Challenger Series qualifiers where you could qualify into the Challenger Series. If you win the Challenger Series, you go pro because teams had relegations and stuff. So a team invited me to play with them, and then I go to Colorado. I'm playing with that team, and then that team disbands. And then after that team disbands, we're in this house in Colorado. We have to sell everything in the house because we're out of money and stuff. We need plane tickets home. So we're doing that, and then after we do all of that, I get home. I make this video about the whole situation, and it's an adventure along the way. I don't care. It's not like, oh, it all went wrong and the system's so bad. It's just that's what it was back then, the Wild West esports. Nothing bad like that's gonna happen anymore. But anyways, I make a video about it, and then LS gets in contact with me, and I'm like, oh shit, because LS was one of the only guys I'd ever watched that like the way he talked about the game made it all make sense. He was a league coach before there even was a league coach, because back in the day, he played StarCraft, he played all these other games before League of Legends. So he gets in contact with me, and I start talking with him. And then just through being in contact with him for years and years, I started doing coaching as well and kind of built up my skills at it. Super bad at the beginning, an absolute terrible scam at the beginning. I remember one of my first sessions, I probably spent an hour talking about just saving your E on Zen Zhao, which would be like when you go for a gank, save your dash. And it probably took me an hour talking with this poor guy to even get there. So, but yeah,
What got you into coaching? Like from being a player it, into coach? Because like,
so
yeah.
yeah, with LS, he did coaching, and then where I was going to go out to live with him in Korea for a little bit. That was one of the avenues to make money, and that's what got me into it. And then what kept me in it was I was very bad at it, and I was like, I have to get better at this. Like, I don't know. And whenever you start coaching, what you realize is whenever you teach someone something, you're going to learn about it yourself. And that's where it really became like holistically nurturing, holistically fruitful for everyone involved, because whenever you help someone actually gain a rank, it means so much more than whenever you gain it. And then once I figured out that I could do that in a very easily replicatable sense, then it was on.
Okay. And was the content creation part when you did that first video, or was it when you were coaching and it was like another way of like getting an audience into your one-on-ones? Like, when did the content creation part like hit in?
Well, yeah, like everything else, it started off like super slow and not intentional at all. So I probably didn't do content for the first like 8 years or so that I was involved with the game, which is an L, but whoops. Especially back then, you could if you just made anything, you'd probably be one of the founders or whatever. But um, what really got me into it was there was just this phase where I was practicing my coaching. I was probably 2 years in and still considered myself shit, as I should have. And then um, I wanted to kind of hash out my thoughts on things. So back then, runes were very important. Runes are what you load into the game with, and they had more impact. Nowadays, they're more flat, and that's fine. That's how they balance the game. But I wanted to know for sure. It's like if you were to study something and then write it out, you're going to remember it better that way. So I
Mhm.
recorded videos where I talked about the runes for specific champions. And then surprisingly, those videos did well. And I did it for every single champion in the game. And there's a lot of champions in League of Legends. So those videos got about, say, 15,000 average views, which is very good. And then that got me interested in YouTube because the YouTube channel got 1,000 subscribers. That's when you're monetized. So I tried little things along the way for a couple of years after that. Nothing too serious, though. It wasn't my aim. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, I noticed that people like Peck and Wolf were uploading these gameplay commentaries where they would play and talk about the game. And I was like, oh shit. Because I was very good at talking about the game and playing it, but I never put the two and two together. So when I watched him do it, he's like, as soon as a video starts, right, it'd be like, hey, we're playing, let's say, Kha'Zix jungle. Here's the runes. Here's what we're going to do. And I was like, we can just do that and it works. So I started doing that about 2 years ago. And yeah, built up my ability to do it with the main aim being that someone watching it is a beginner. And if I was a total noob at a game, I don't want a lot of extra stuff. I want an A, B, and C to follow because everything else is bullshit. You can't even see it at that point. If you were to watch like a more complex video that goes deeper into strategy, that's fine, but it's not going to help you build up what you need to just simply win like the next 10 games and then have a
Hmm.
pattern that you can easily repeat. So that's what I wanted to provide the person watching the video. And then as a consequence, where I started uploading those very consistently, then built up an audience that way. And then I've never really advertised the coaching directly. At the start of each video, there's a 2-second thing that says buy coaching, and that's it. So I've never been like, you have to
Hmm.
expand it with this.
You mentioned consistency. Is that the key to like your success? And also a second part to that question, you have very good communication skills. Like the when we're having conversations, man, it's like I'm having a laugh. Like like how you communicate. I'm really like like it's easy to understand and entertaining. Did you work on that,
I
or
think it
does it come natural?
Well, I think it's half and half. I think I had to work on speaking smart rather than like, because I'm not going to make it not fun either. I guess I didn't mention that
Hmm.
part. The other videos are stale. Okay, hold on. The other guys do a good job, okay? But if it's stale and it doesn't have any flavor, any
Don't
sauce,
mention any names,
yeah.
just in case.
But like for fuck's sake, like if you don't have any fun with it, this is a video game, okay? Any good, any good aspect when I think of esports, I think deadly serious and hilariously silly and stupid. Like think of like old StarCraft. Think of like Smash Bros. Smash Bros is the shining example. We are dead serious about this. If you miss a frame, you suck, you're trash. But also, Mango got super drunk and he's being a total idiot. Stuff like that. So, I it wasn't even optional for me to incorporate that into the videos because where you're saying consistently, this is what I do. This is what I've been locked into for like 2 or 3 years. It has to be good for me too, and it's got to be something that I want to do. And I'm a person that has to have fun with it, so
Hmm.
I had to integrate the fun. You have to have the funny and then the the actual important stuff.
Yeah. How long did it take you to go from 0 to 1K on YouTube?
Well, that was kind of easy with those rune videos. I accidentally hacked it because they're more topical, but I would say
Hmm.
probably 4 months or something. But it was
Okay.
unintentional. I
Okay.
wasn't like attacking it directly.
Okay. And in order to grow from 1K onwards, what would you say? Like, how did you grow your YouTube community? Was it like making more like viral videos? Like, what was your strategy of what you can share?
Well, what really worked for me is when I started limiting stuff. If I tried to add more, then it never worked out for me. I'm not someone who
Hmm.
can make the sort of topical videos. The best league setup, like I'm not doing that. Um, the best tier list, this new thing, I'm not doing that. What I have to do is something that's going to be consistent. And every single time I've um, reduced variables, then it's been good for me. So what I did was with League of Legends, you have 5 roles: top, jungle, mid, AD, and support. And
Hmm.
at the start, I would kind of upload all of them. And just because at the time I played all of them, I played Phil, which you just queue up and you play whatever. But what I realized was that the advice I was giving wasn't as true role to role, champion to champion, because I didn't have as much experience on them. And then it felt fake. So what I did was I limited it to one role, which is jungle. I liked playing the role. It wasn't really, um, what would you say, conquered as a niche on YouTube. So that was good. Um, and then the role kind of has infinite content because the people always need the jungle path, the build, what the champion's purpose is, something like that. So, and then once I chose jungle, then I limited the champions I played because you can always play the new funny thing. You can always do the funny build, and I wasn't interested in that. It's kind of the opposite of most YouTubers. Like, here's the new funny one shot build. Me, we are playing Xin Zhao the way he's supposed to be played for the 4,000th time. Here we go. And then outline how to
Yeah,
do that.
it's interesting because like some people go to like the new character to get like new audience into their channel, and you are able to grow your audience like focusing and simplifying a process. So sometimes it's kind of the contrary of what they preach you have to do to get your audience, but it works for you. So
Well, with gaming, you're not gonna hit like like a Mr. Beast views. You're not going to hit a true crime views. You're not going to hit like even like a Roblox or a Minecraft thing. Any competitive game, you might as well build out a smaller community that is more interested, and that's what
Hmm.
I've done.
Yeah. Is there any specific content that you found that is more effective, like gets those views? Is it like the more practical, like content, or is it like the funny, entertaining? What is like? Yeah.
Which ones get more views? It would always be a topical one, like where it's harder to aim something at it because it's always going to be the zeitgeist of the game itself. So one of
Hmm.
my most viewed videos is a Fiddlesticks jungle clear, which at the time it was very hard to do. You had to do two camps at once. You had to be in specific spots, blah blah blah. And then I did that. I had the fastest clear for a while, and that was that.
Hmm. Okay. And okay, so your YouTube channel is it the main monetization? Do you like? Okay, my question is, how, like, what other social media channels do you use to, like, like, feed that subscriber increase on YouTube or Twitch? Like, what are the, let's say,
To get
if,
people to YouTube, is that what you're saying?
yes, so if I'm a content creator that is starting and wants to grow my audience, on YouTube, or Twitch, like, what are the other two main social media channels that can provide that right now, that are the most?
Well, I don't think anything's better than YouTube. YouTube brings the audience to you. The
Hmm.
the thing that you have to do is provide a product that's not total dog shit, and then people
Okay.
will be more inclined to follow. So they'll follow on YouTube, and then I think the real slime is to get them onto something else. Which right now I think if you're a gamer, it's obvious. You just get them on a Discord server, and then
Hmm.
from there, then the community can actually like communicate with each other, and then it builds up something. But I've never used a TikTok. I've never, honestly,
Okay.
Twitter does nothing. I've never done Instagram or any of that, which luckily I haven't had to. It's like a true
Okay.
gaming community where they don't even use those things. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
No,
all there on YouTube.
it's amazing because usually, they usually use like TikTok and another social media that works best for them to drive them to the Twitch or YouTube. So, I
Mhm.
mean, amazing. And the Discord, the editing, the everything, do you do it by yourself, or do you have like someone or a team that does a bit of everything to save you time?
I should have a person for Discord because it's just a messy default. But and then with YouTube, I don't have to edit the videos. It'll just be a full gameplay.
Okay.
So at most, it's like I'll smash two videos together, like two games, and
Hmm.
then for one champion. So that's
Okay.
been super lucky too.
Hmm. And what is like what do you honestly think that the audience follows you? Is it what you mentioned at the beginning? Your simplified content. Uh, what is it that the audience like? Have you talked to your audience, or do you know why your audience
Well, yeah, through
follows you?
coaching, I know my audience pretty, I guess, intimately. I wish I knew a better word, but um, so whenever I talk in the videos, I call them Bob. They can call me Bob. I call them Bob, and they come for two things: it's the funny, and then it's the information. It's the
Hmm.
gameplay, it's the game, and then it's, I guess, the culture because it's not too serious, but it's also not just for fun. It's like it's the mix. And I think you need both. I think you need the yin to the yang when it comes to gaming because there's the
Hmm.
time to be deadly serious and the time to be pretty silly and stupid. And I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they don't get that from most content creators would be one or the other, for better or for worse, because it's a
Okay.
fine line to be right there in the middle. Like if I was coaching a player, right? I don't want you to be fully aggressive. I don't want you to be too defensive. I want you to be right in the middle. We're doing something nice here, but you got to be brave to be in the middle. You
Hmm.
got to be disciplined
Yeah.
and strong enough to do it and whatnot.
The balance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And regarding, just for pure like curiosity, what is like the day to day of a full time content creator like you?
Is
Does
a
it
nine to
vary?
five
Does it
harder
vary,
than?
or do you have some structure, a slight routine or something?
Yeah, I would say I'm on like a pretty regular sort of thing. Like wake up, look at phone, do nothing, and then once I'm in the groove, then we're gonna eat some breakfast, and then kind of meander around, and then once the brain turns on, we might do one warm up game, not too much, and then I'll sit down to record for probably 4 hours. When I'm recording, I'm probably projecting my voice like this, so I can't do it in like a super long stretch most days, but I'll probably have 4 to 6 hours of doing that, especially if the games suck and I have to throw a lot of them away.
Mhm.
But and then I'll do that, maybe block off another 2 hours later in the day to do the same thing, and then the rest would be producing the videos, such as making the thumbnail, uploading it, and kind of wrapping it all together. And then in between is just eating, going outside, general activities, stuff like that. But what's nice about it is that I can buffer video, like I could schedule videos out and then just have 4, 5, 6 days free in between, like
Okay.
just doing coaching sessions, and yeah, so I can have a lot of free time in between as well.
Yeah. Do you like? Do you feel like? Do you see yourself like on in the long term? Like still coaching, or do you wanna have something like a more scalable system? What is actually what you enjoy the most in what you do
Well,
in content, coaching, everything?
I feel like I need every single part of it because it's all built
Mm-hmm.
up. I think I need the one-on-one coaching. I think I should sell a course. I think I should have a group sort of coaching session, which is harder to do in League of Legends. I thought about this recently. They even implemented multi-person practice tool in League, but for the jungle role, you're not going to get much out of that. If we were doing 1v1s in lane, if we were a mid lane content creator, that might make sense. So there should be a little something where there's a group involved, which where I've coached collegiate teams and stuff, that's kind of where I got a little bit of that, but it's harder to do when it's if I had 5 junglers with me. But I feel like every single part's necessary. You need to play the game, at least for me, because my words need to be intrinsic. They can't just be words out of knowledge. I need to have the experience. And the way I define experience is or the way I define understanding is experience and then knowledge. And then you have to play the game to wrap the two together, and then boom, we have the understanding. If I don't have the understanding, the words are bullshit. So
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, I got to play the game, I got to study the game, I got to watch it, got to get shit on in the game, and then teach someone the game through coaching, teach it through the videos, and then I suppose through courses and stuff like that. Because then it just keeps reinforcing itself, and it becomes like a holistic thing that actually works and then progresses me and the people, the audience, I suppose.
Okay. Okay. A major mistake or mess up that you've done that has taught you a valuable lesson in coaching or content creation?
A major mistake. I don't
Something
know.
that made you like feel it. I'm like, oof, I'm not gonna do
Well,
this again
especially
because
back in the day, and it's League of
yeah.
Legends, like just insulting some people, calling them some really stupid stuff, whether it was in game or whether it was on Twitter or something. That, looking back on it, has always been a perpetual L. I really thought I was taking a stand on something and doing something big. I don't think that's super unique. I feel like any young person has done that, but especially as a gamer, it's like, um, as a gamer with League of Legends, time just keeps going, and these same people still know you. So if I called, I don't know, let's say like Strumpus, that's an OG challenger mid laner. I probably called him a noob or some stupid stuff at some point in some game. I don't know. And he might remember it. I've probably totally forgot about it, but maybe he holds like a bad disposition against me. But nothing really comes to mind that I've done that's like, whoa, Nelly, I really went off the rails there.
No, nothing in coaching and content creation that
Well,
I
in
thought you
coaching the first couple of
a
years,
major
I was a
lesson.
noob,
Yeah,
but what was I going to
yeah.
do? I would say when I was a noob, like, I would be more like instructor, like, here's what you do. And then the more you progress as a teacher is like, you start asking them questions. It probably took me 2 years to ask a question that was worth a shit, but, what are you
Yeah,
going to do?
yeah.
At least I
No,
wasn't in person with like kids or imagine being a
yeah,
kindergarten teacher and you're a noob. Oh, it'd
yeah.
be bad. Oh, yeah,
No, I
yeah.
mean, like, like what you mentioned on social media about talking and stuff, and and stuff like this, and it all stays, you should try going on X and typing Holy GD Sports and some industry professionals just bashing against each other. That's also very
Yeah, I
entertaining
bet it's
sometimes.
fun for you where you have like a. Actually, you said that this would never work out.
Screenshot. But yeah. Sawyer,
Yep.
before we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to mention that we haven't mentioned? Well, I haven't asked you.
For the person viewing,
For
for
the
me
person viewing, yeah,
personally,
it's
let's
about
see.
like us having fun, but also like giving some value, to the
Let's
viewer.
see. Some value I would give is that with anything in gaming, you're going to start off as a noob. Now, when you're a noob,
Yeah.
that's no fun. So what you want to do is bash your head against it. It's okay to make mistakes. When I was a noob, I spent too much time, too many years playing it safe rather than just running the gambit of just attack, fail, attack, fail, attack, fail. And then third time you attack, maybe it works out. So whether you're in game or pursuing something, that'd be the approach I would take.
And how do you build like a niche loyal community like you've done?
You got to specialize in something. And I think
Hmm.
if you're going to do it consistently, you might as well pick something that you enjoy. Because with anything in gaming, like I said, Mr. Beast exists. You're not going to become 1 billion subscribers or do a massive thing with it. So it's got to be something that is intrinsically valuable to you, because then it will continue to just keep rolling.
Yeah. Define consistency. Is it one video a day? Is it X times a week? Like, what is consistency for you?
I think when you lock into it as a lifestyle, for me personally, if I've never ever ever shut off that I'm going to do this, I'm gonna make gaming work. I've never shut it off, for better or for worst. Like
Hmm.
when I'd be working a regular job or whenever I was just totally just nothing burg sort of months, like I never turned it off. I was just going to make it work and then stuck to it. So I guess it's a mindset.
Yeah. Do you think you're gonna have the same mindset 5 years from now? Like, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, probably
Yeah.
millionaire with 17 kids, a couple wives. Hard to say. I would say
Okay.
it's going to
UAE.
shift. The Aston
Or
Martin out front.
some in Texas, some place where like who's the people like in the US that can have like multiple wives?
Um,
The no,
Polygamist?
yeah, something like that. I've seen some documentaries of
Yeah,
like communities in the US. Boy, you should
they're
end up
always
there.
weirder in the
I
US.
think. But yeah.
Like anything with gaming, I think as you age, it's going to change, it's going to shift.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing people age into it and their roles are going to shift. They're going to have to be more wise. They're going to have to be of some sort of value to the people that are coming through. So I guess I'll just have to see how someone like an LS or someone in these other games like Counter Strike and StarCraft really operate and kind of follow in their footsteps. I'm nowhere near their echelon, but they would lay the groundwork and I'd probably just follow suit.
Yeah. Do you see League of Legends changing quite a bit, or do you see maintaining? Because like
What they're
they're
doing with League
always,
of Legends right now is they're
yeah.
trying to make it more accessible, and they have been for years. So instead of the items and the runes being something that really changes things, they're kind of mobile gaming it out where experience in the game, as the stat, not like the person playing, is going to matter
Mhm.
more. So then the base levels of the champion and what the champion is going to be more impactful rather than how the items augment it. That lowers creativity, but then adds where if someone just started playing the game, like people complain about it, but if someone just started playing the game tomorrow, they build these two items and that's the champion. And it works, and then they can just start playing. They're also implementing WASD movement, which should allow way more players to actually function in this game because way more people are accustomed to that sort of control scheme than, I mean, hell, like I said, coming from Call of Duty, moving the little guy with a mouse didn't feel good for like a year and a half. But
Mhm.
they're trying to make it more accessible. Whether the game lives or dies, that's not super important to me. I think there'll always be another game to come. Um,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, we would just go with the flow with it. because I've built up skills that aren't just
Are
applicable to
transferable.
one game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. And out of curiosity, what do you think about like, 'cause like League of Legends in the collegiate scene, year by year, it's been kind of more difficult to recruit
Hmm.
compared to other video games. Why do you think that is? Like less high school kids are adopting League of Legends compared to other video games, or is it, or is that not true and it's just in the collegiate scene?
Well, I don't know if it's true, but what I know is that it's a harder game to get a group of people coordinated with because there's five
Mhm.
roles, and in those five roles, at best, the five players might play two champions well.
Yeah,
So we have five players. Okay, nice. They play two champions. Nice. This guy's bronze. This guy's challenger. This guy's silver. This guy's gold. This guy's never played. And here we go. We're going to compete. Like, okay, good luck. So in the US, where high schools and colleges are more spread out, they're not more condensed, where you have a higher population, it's always going to be harder to recruit a team that's going to have any sort of cohesion. So,
hmm,
at least in the collegiate scene, you have a chance because people come together in one condensed area. Sometimes, not all the time, because there's so many different smaller colleges, community college, and that's what most people want to do for the first 2 years is a smaller college because it's cheaper. So that's probably where they run into difficulty. Any 1v1 game is going to be so much easier. You log into the
yeah,
program and you play. That's it.
yeah. Five personalities, five different levels. Most times, yeah, it's no joke to recruit. But yeah, yeah. So Sawyer, I thank you so much for your time, and like I'm very excited, to start working together, and I'm provide values to those students, and yeah, basically I don't know how to actually end this pretty well, but I guess you want to say some last words before we wrap up? Any
Hmm.
last words?
Any last words? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. And then I promo the coaching, and I say, you can buy coaching
Subscribe to
here.
Sawyer, okay,
Yeah,
and also get a coaching session with him.
you got to tell him to subscribe. Well, you did. Okay. Yeah, you got it.